Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another EZA Future Gohan video. We are taking him in against Red Zone BROLY. Have also brought Mai with me, which I know is a risk, but she does really help him with the extra link for Cold Judgment and providing the support as well. So I was like, why not? One thing I have noticed a lot with this guy is he definitely needs dupes. Dupes are a big help. Like, it's only going to do so much, but they do help out, especially because 55% is the bare minimum. Another thing is his base form actually would be able to tank better than his SSJ form. And that's because if you can get him down to the 70% HP threshold, I know you're forced to transform as long as you have your HP above, what, 58%. But with him in base, if he is in base and you super attack and you get the 50% attack and defense raise, the 50% on super, along with having the damage reduction, he has a more total combined defense with that than he does in Super Saiyan. Of course, you just lose out on a lot of damage, considering while he is an SSJ, he ends up tanking a whole lot. So I thought that was quite funny. But with this Gohan, I am noticing that you probably do want to go some dodge and as much additional as possible, so he's doing as much damage as possible. The extra super does make a difference, and more importantly, he gets to stack up a bit more. But some dupes would definitely make a massive impact. Not only that as well, he's another unit that benefits a whole lot off of the LR Bulma's support, who unfortunately I don't have. So we could kind of say that he's not in the best position with me right now. I said 55%, don't have the LR Bulma. He's still decent. And as I said, once he's in Super Saiyan, he'll be able to tank the majority of enemies in the game, basic-wise, for nothing. It's the super attacks, especially at 55%, which will catch this guy. But from what I've seen, as I said, I do still think he's a very decent EZA. He's good. He's very solid. It's just, as I said, he's definitely a unit that will benefit a whole lot of dupes, or a whole lot off of dupes. It's just, if they gave him some defense on super, it would have made such a massive difference. Whether that was one turn, whether that was stacking, it just would have benefited him a whole lot, and it would have made a world of difference. Again, especially at 55%. But I know the Super Saiyan form is meant to be a more offensive form. It's meant to do more damage, which it does. He's very good at doing that. And the damage reduction is massive for him. But as I said, at 55%, not having dupes, it is noticeable. It is noticeable. From what I've seen at Rainbow, I can't remember if it was with Bulma's support active, but of course that also does play a factor if you do have her. But at Rainbow, I think he does have like just over 200k defense, like in those realms, which it won't make too much of a difference if he was to be hit with by a massive super attack during Super Saiyan. You know, after losing that defense on super, or at least the SA effect. But it will knock the super down slightly. Again, it's a unit I definitely want to see firsthand rather than making assumptions. But just seeing him take like over 250k on a super from a Mega's second phase in Red Zone, I was a bit like, again, I know he's at 55%, but I'm like, it's a bit much. It's not even like he hadn't finished building up or like there was more defense to get. No, that's as good as it gets. I mean, at least for me, again, with him being at 55%. But just to kind of help him out a little bit, I have given him some skill orbs that do give him some additional, so hopefully we can get an additional super. Again, we're not facing an androids or a Future Saga enemy, so we don't have that additional guaranteed. And then I've also given him some additional dodge equipped, so at least there's some dodge in there as well where we can utilize it. We have got the SSJ transformation. Again, I know using Mai is a massive risk, but I was like, she does help him out quite a lot. See here, against BROLY, where BROLY's AoEing, so Gohan might not even get the chance to super attack, so he won't get that 58% attack and defense. This is where I'm going to use an item, but this is where if BROLY decides to super attack him, whether Gohan super attacks or not, it doesn't really matter. Because, as I've already mentioned, with Gohan's 58% damage reduction, and then 40% damage reduction for a Whis, that is a total of 98% damage reduction. With an item active, again, which is more important at 55% because you're missing some of those extra stats. He literally defensively can tank everything for nothing, which I think is amazing. But that is with an item active. But I'm not opposed to using them. I will my opinion will kind of lower only slightly or increase slightly if a unit can work incredibly well without items, but it doesn't bother me if I need to use one. So like this will do nothing, especially because he has supered, but even if he didn't super, this would do nothing. Yeah, 11 damage, which again is to be expected, but even if he didn't super, even if he didn't get that 58% attack and defense in his passive, when performing a super attack, that still would have done nothing. But as I said, when I just first saw him take like over 250k on a super from that second phase, I was a bit like, that's just too much to me. It's just a bit too much. You've got to be taking less than that. But he's definitely a unit that benefits a whole lot from dupes because you have the extra additional in there, you know, which means he can stack up his attack even quicker, you know, especially if you're not facing an android or a future saga enemy. You know, he has the chance to super attack 3 times without the one from his passive, and if you are facing one of those enemies, there's 4, and again, that's 4 super attacks, or if you're not facing one of those enemies, 3, which not only means he's stacking the entire time, which not only means he's getting stronger and stronger and stronger, but also the amount of damage he can do in one turn. Again, it's a decent amount while he's constantly getting stronger after every super attack, especially if you're facing an android or future saga category enemy. But as I said, the main thing, I do think they should have given some defense on Super and Super Saiyan. It would have benefited him a whole lot. I can't lie, this with where our health is at, this is a massive risk. So I am going to use an item. I think basic wise, again, he would still be fine. I do believe though, however, if BROLY was to super attack him with no item active, Gohan would die. And I think even with dupes, I'm pretty sure Gohan would die. Even with the extra stats from dupes. Even if he did have over 200k defense, Rainbow. If he super attacked and then got hit by a super, even against BROLY, who isn't even the hardest hitting enemy in the game anymore, I'm pretty sure Gohan would die. Or he would take a ton of damage and you would barely be left surviving. Like, I know there's some big boy units I'm also missing that can go with him, like the EZA INTs and some other guys, but, you know, it still stands. Oh, he is actually getting supered. Funny enough, this isn't going to do anything because of all of the damage reduction Gohan currently has, which I think is funny. Yeah, with an item active, Gohan is unstoppable. Like, Gohan doesn't get touched by any enemy in the game, which I think is great. I think it's hilarious. Big double from Mai, I love that. It's a shame she can't dodge. I knew it was a risk bringing her, but I was like, why not? Why not? But I mean, he is doing well. He is doing well. And that's another thing to take into consideration is the teams he can go on and who's like going to be with him. And as I said, he has some very good tanking units with him to the point where, yes, I've already stated he's a slot 2, slot 3 unit, but if you're realistically going to use him, at some point you may just rotate him off. But obviously for content's sake, I'm not going to do that. He's going to be on main rotation. But you could easily just rotate him off into slot 3 and kind of try and avoid as much danger as possible with him. So as I said, I do still think he's a very solid EZA. I do think he benefits a whole lot off of dupes compared to what I'm seeing at 55%. But I know he can easily be caught. Whereas on the other hand, funny enough, if you have a Whis active, no enemy in the game can harm him at all because of all the damage reduction. So he still is a lot of fun. He is a lot of fun to use. I will say that, considering like he's a stacker of attack. It's pretty much big number go boom. All the basics don't touch him. Again, realistically, if I was using him on a team, I could then float him off. You know, but with him being on rotation, a lot of the time he's more likely to be in harm's way, so it's a lot more noticeable. And again, I am missing some like bigger boy units like Bulma, like the Year 8 SSJ4s, you know, the new Vegito. There's probably a few more that I'm forgetting about. So that is also another thing, but he is surrounded by some fantastic units. I mean, literally the ones we're using now, again, Orange Piccolo, Movie Heroes Piccolo, Year 7 Gods. Like, I didn't even bring Year 7 Gods or Tech God Goku here, which would have been a shout. EZA Gogeta, there's also the EZA Year 5 units. there's a ton of amazing units that can go around this guy where you're doing so much damage, and a lot of the other ones tank so well where you may not even notice him get caught that much. Like right now, we are demolishing Broly's health bar. Like we just are. So he's still very good. He's still very solid. He's still a lot of fun to use. But, and again, especially at 55% without an item, he will definitely get caught. There is a big chance he will get caught. I don't want to get the Dokkan attack. Have I managed to avoid it? I have. So if we can survive this, which I don't see why we wouldn't. Vegeta and Trunks have been stacking the entire time. There isn't a time we haven't had the 18 key. So I think we survive this. Yeah, we do. Just about though, 40k HP. We can see what Gohan is tanking on a basic, but as I said, he will tank all basics for nothing. It's the super attacks that he will get hit by. He will get clotted by without an item. But then again, as I said, if he was in base and he super attacks because he gets that 50% defense raise, especially if you can get an additional with his damage reduction active, he's actually going to tank pretty well. Nice little double. I've never got him higher than, I think, a 9 million attack stat, funny enough. But damage-wise, with the built-in crit, it's great. Like, it's great because not only is he getting stronger, not only is he doing a ton of attacks in one turn, but they all have a 30% chance to crit. So he's doing some very good damage. As I said, he's still very good. He is a lot of fun to use because of that. But as I said, just beware, especially if you're in my scenario, especially if you're in my case, where you don't have any dupes in him or you have hardly any, he can get caught. But then if you're not one of those guys who will use items, shit ain't touching him. But let me know your thoughts. I'm actually really intrigued to see what you guys think, because I'm enjoying him, but he has a lot of limitations right now, being 55% for me, at least from what I've seen. But do let me know your thoughts. I'll see you next video, guys. Take care, have a good rest of your day, and peace.